Imagine you are a sanctioned psyker kneeling in the sanctum of your black ship. You've been so drilled and beaten to believe one truth. There are four great powers, four distinct cancers eating at the heart of reality: Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh. But then, you hear a sound that isn't a scream of a rage or a whisper of a seduction. You hear the grinding gears made of bone. You feel a cold silence that wants to consume chaos himself. The Inquisition tells you the number is 4. They lie. The warp is infinite. In the deep dark, things are waking up. Things that made the great game look like a child's play. Today, we are deep diving to the forbidden pantheon of Warhammer 40k. We are going to look past the veil. We will examine the Arkifane, Vashtorr, who is forging his own path to godhood. We will discuss Malice, the renegade god who fights chaos with chaos. And we will set in the deep warp to fight the entities that even the demons fear. So make sure you subscribe because the Inquisition doesn't want you to hear this. And tell me your opinions in the comments. If a fifth chair is added to the great game, who deserves to sit in it? I tend to learn more reading those and that will help me a lot. Let's begin. Before we can understand the usurpers, we must understand the kings first. The big four are not just powerful beings, they are the reflection of our own broken souls. They are monsters in the truest sense, fed by emotion of every sentient race in the galaxy. First, you have Khorne, the blood god. He is brutality, honor, and rage. He is the simplest, and arguably the most terrifying because the rage is universal. Then you have Tzeentch, the changer of ways, hope, ambition, magic. He is the architect of a plan that can never finish. Then you have Nurgle, the grandfather, despair and endurance. He loves you, he wants you to rot, but he wants you to be happy about it. He is inevitably of death and entropy, roped in a toxic embrace. And finally, Slaanesh, the dark prince, excess, obsession, the youngest. Slaanesh is the proof that a god can be manufactured if you sin hard enough. These four are trapped in the great game. They fight each other more than they fight the Imperium. They are elemental forces, but here's the problem of being an elemental force. You are bound by your own nature. Khorne cannot be subdued, Nurgle cannot rush. This rigidity creates cracks, and within those cracks, other things have begun to fester, things that do not follow the rules of the great game. This brings us to the core comparison of the modern settings. If chaos gods are emotions, what happens when the galaxy becomes cold, unfeeling, and industrial? You get Vashtorr. Vashtorr the Arkifane is a relatively new nightmare in the lore, rising in the prominence with the Arcs of Omen. He is not a chaos god, yet, but he is far more than a demon prince. He is a demigod of the soul forge. Imagine the curiosity of a scientist mixed with the cruelty of a torturer, stripped of immorality. There is Vashtorr. He represents curiosity, innovation, and evolution, but completely devoid of conscience. He is the god of the machines, of contract, of the arms deal. Let me explain. While Khorne wants your scores as Slaanesh wants your soul, Vashtorr wants your utility. He is the arms dealer of the world. He creates the demon engines, the soul grinders, the arcs. He trades with all four gods, but he serves none of them. He is his own entity. He is currently searching for the key, artifacts of the old ones that will allow him to turn into the old webway and access a realm of power that could elevate him to a full godhood. Why is so dangerous? Because it's logical. The chaos gods are slaves of their own emotion. Vashtorr is a creature of a cold calculation. He is allied with Abaddon the Spoiler not because he worshipped him, but because it was mutually beneficial business transaction. He represents a terrifying possibility, a chaos god of science, a deity that reflects the Imperium's own industrial brutality back at it. In a galaxy of constant war, the one who sells the bullets is the one who truly rules. Vashtorr is knocking on the door of the pantheon, and the big four are rightfully worried. But if Vashtorr is the future, let's look at the ghost of the past. Let's look at the entity the Inquisition has tried very hard to forget. Malice, or as he was known in the ancient texts, Malal. Malice is the renegade god. He is the hierarchy of anarchy and terror. His domain is not rage or change or rot. His domain is the destruction of chaos itself. He represents the self-defeating nature of the world. He is the hatred of the outcast. His followers, the Sons of Malice, are a renegade space marine chapter who engage in ritualistic cannibalism to commune with him. They fight the Imperium, yes, but they fight the forces of other chaos gods with even great ferocity. There is a famous story where the sons of Malice summon an avatar of their gods. They don't do it with prayer, they do it by sacrificing the champion of the other chaos gods. When Malice manifests, he doesn't bring gift, he brings silence. He brings a void that is the warp energy around it. Now, from a lore perspective, Malice occupies a strange place. He is canon, mentioned in the Labyrinth short story and the 3rd edition codex, but he is neglected. Game Workshop doesn't speak of him often, but in the universe he represents the 5th chair that is always empty. Think about the psychology here. Khorne hates Slaanesh, Tzeentch hates Nurgle, but Malice hates all of them. He is the anti-god. I want to know in the comments now, who's scarier? A god that wants to enslave you like Slaanesh, or a god like Malice who wants to burn the entire playground just to watch it burn? Malice proves that the warp is not a unifying front, but is more like an aquarium full of sharks, and there is always a bigger shark waiting in the dark. Eventually, this draws us to the arm of the deepest lore. The concept that hovered at the edge of the canon and madness. We must talk about the Dark King. During the climax of the Siege of Terra, in the book The End and the Death, it was revealed that humanity was on the verge of birthing a new chaos god, a 5th major power. This entity was known as the Dark King. It was the god of ruin, the god of total domination. And the terrible irony, it wasn't Logar or Magnus who was going to become this god, it was the Emperor. The accumulation of so much psychic power, so much desperation, was pushing the Emperor to ascend. He had to cast off that power to avoid destroying humanity. He had to refuse godhood to save the species. But the energy of the Dark King, the concept of it, still lingers. The potential is still there. Deeper still, beyond the Dark King, beyond Vashtorr, lies the entities of the deep world, the Halo stars, the Ghoul stars. We have brief mention of things that are not demons, things that were there before the old ones. The warp is a reflection of life, but the galaxy is old. There are dead races, dead empires, and their nightmares are still screaming in the basement of reality. There are descriptions of warp predators that feed on demons, massive shark-like entities that swim in the deep currents where the light of the astronomicon does not reach. This suggests that the chaos gods are merely the sharks swimming near the surface. We have no idea what the leviathans are swimming in the depth. So again, imagine you're a soldier of the Imperium. The sky is burning, you hear the horror of Khorne, you smell the rotten Nurgle. But now you know the truth. You know that behind the curtain, gears are turning to the Soul Forge. You know that in the shadows, the renegade god is sharpening his knife. You know that the Emperor himself nearly became the very thing he fought against. Okay, so now we have 7. But the Star of Chaos has 8 points, so who sits on the 8th chair? What if I tell you that 8 is the nameless? It is the entity of the deep world. It represents the horror of the Halo stars, the things that existed before humanity screamed its first breath. It is the silence of the deep world. The pantheon is not fixed. It is growing. It is hungry. And if the 8th chair is ever filled, the great game will be over, because that silence might actually eat the god. Thank you for watching. I want to start a real debate in the comments. Do you think the deep warp entities are stronger than the big 4, or are they just older? Let the debate begin. And as always, again, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.